Hello, TPR Nation. This is Amber King from The Perfect RIA. Thank you for joining me on today's Fallout Friday. Now, before I get into today's recap, if you're enjoying our episodes, we'd love for you to give us 5 stars wherever you listen or watch your podcast. On Monday, Matt and Micah were talking about the most important parts of surge meetings and pointed out that there's so much that you can't control. So you need to focus on what you can, and that includes things that are behind the scenes and pre and post meetings. They wanted to stress how important your role as a financial advisor is and how your role is the single most important thing in a client's entire professional life. And the way you do your job best is by knowing your clients and being more interested in their success than anyone else. The guys went into what are the 2 most important parts of your client meeting. The first is that you need to draw out what is the most important thing to the client. Now, this takes practice and rehearsing to really know how to do this, because during the meeting, you don't want to be wondering what you should be asking them about. You want to be present. So you want to have the questions ready, and it all starts during that chit chat in the beginning of the meeting. These are usually the exciting things that are happening in your clients' lives, which is why Matt and Michael will say, "Tell me what's new and exciting in your life." Following that, the guys will share that they have several things to go through, but tell me what your questions or concerns are that are on your mind. You want to make sure that you're giving time to your clients' questions and repeating their questions in the way that they said them. The other important thing is that they're asking a few times, "What else?" Now, it takes courage to ask this more than once, but it really opens the door for the client to share things that are going on in their lives or things that they're concerned about. Once you've done that, then you can weave their questions into the agenda. Some things you can answer right away, but others you might need to think about, or because it fits well into something that you need to discuss or relates to other items on the agenda. So then getting into the second most important part of a client meeting. So you've asked the great questions, you've gone through your value adds, you've gone through the agenda. What happens next? After this, when the meeting ends, this is when your notes and your dictation are critical to your success. So immediately following the meeting, you want to start doing your dictation and focusing on everything that went on the meeting. So communicating what is actually happening in the meeting, communicating to your team what needs to happen from the meeting, and telling your future self what you need to be thinking about at your next meeting. And recapping what's going on in the meeting, this includes what type of meeting it was, what actually happened. Was it a good meeting? How are the clients? Go through the business part and what was talked about. What's the cash flow? What were the main things that they did? And what other questions did the client have? And what action came out of that? And with the dictation and giving tasks to your team, you need to make sure that you're clear, direct, and specific in the action items. And make sure that you're including what you need to know in planning for that next meeting. A benefit of doing this dictation is that it allows you to put that meeting out of your mind. You can't just keep all these meetings in your head, so this allows you to be present in the next meeting and efficient with your time. Let's get into action items. Have a template that you're following so that every memo or dictation is done consistently. Get all of your work done before you leave for the day. Make your schedule in Surge that allows you to do this. And pull your last 10 dictations and see if it meets your template and process. Now, before we continue, remember that at The Perfect RIA, we offer 2 levels of membership. Backstage Pass offers an inside look at what Matt and Micah use in their RIAs, working at your own pace. Our Invictus membership is for the advisor who's looking for more personalized, guided coaching experience and who's ready to commit to doubling their practice. Reach out to us at lifestyle@theperfectria.com for more information. On Wednesday, Matt was joined by Greg Goin, a wholesaler and regional VP for Equitable with extensive experience working with advisors both in the BD and RIA space. Greg was on the show to talk about things that really successful advisors are doing, as well as potential challenges. He said planning has really taken over the last 4 or 5 years, and that advisors are doing this differently in their practice, and that there's a more holistic approach with planning across the industry, regardless of your affiliation. They also discussed the perception of insurance products in the RIA space and the value of certain products in addressing gaps identified through planning. Now, despite this shift, Greg said that there's still a significant education gap, and he shared examples of situations where advisors, even in large firms, were surprised by the potential benefits of certain insurance solutions. Greg also talked about the trade-off between going RIA only and the BD world. He pointed out that you have a lot to take on with your responsibility as an independent business owner. So you've got HR, technology, you're a custodian. How do you want your firm to look? What's your niche? And so on. Versus being a part of a large organization where you have your license and you don't have to sell everything for yourself. With advisors who are consistently struggling, Greg said that there's many things that could be holding them back. They could have a hard time delegating. And he said the best firms have done a good job of separating out and putting a team around their clients versus a one-person operation. Because in order to scale, you can't do that by yourself. So this involves investing in yourself and your firm. As Greg shared, he's seen a lot of firms get to a point where they cap out and they don't invest and then they struggle. Also, that turnover is a challenge in finding the right people and keeping them engaged so that they're invested in your client's success and you can continue to grow. And investing in yourself includes putting the time into your professional development or designations, or whether there's technology or platform that you're using to fully understand its capabilities. What Matt will do is invest in a consultant to help teach him that. And Greg said this is where you can use your partners, and that wholesalers and partners have great resources and assets and can help things from feeling overwhelming. Let's get into action items. Anytime you feel you're at capacity, look to see where you can delegate and look for somewhere you can invest. Remember that someone has already figured things out, so let them do the heavy lifting and you do what you do best, which is meet with your clients and run your practice. On Thursday, Jamie's talking about organizational stickiness and the ability for a company to get their clients coming back from war. She said this is crucial for financial advisors, and there are several factors that contribute to this that you need to be aware of. And this is even more critical for those in the RIA space. Jamie went into how she's always looking at client retention as one of her top numbers, as well as client loss. Now, she said that their lost clients happens one of three ways. The client passed away, they may need to graduate a client because it's time to either conclude their services or they may not be a good fit, or if the client decided they no longer want to work with them. Now, if you're losing clients because of that third reason, you really need to figure out why and be unbiased about that. She said that when you deliver so much value to a client and you make it personal for them, that creates a level of stickiness and the client won't want to make a change. So if you're offering a quality product or service, that's a level of stickiness. Clients come to you because they have a need and you have a unique selling proposition and can fill that need. A second element for creating stickiness is the client experience, and you as the advisor and your team sets the tone for this. So Jamie wanted to talk about how this can make or break the experience. Jamie shared the natural cadence of how their meetings go, where the first 15 minutes are that chit chat, where they're asking more personal family questions and how they're doing, what's going on in their lives. Now remember, in the conference room, it's not about you. It's about the client and what kind of experience you want them to have. No matter what, you're always bringing the conversation back to the client. So if your clients are leaving and you're losing that level of stickiness, Jamie said you need to look at how you're communicating and connecting with clients during the meeting, because clients you're connected with don't normally leave. She said that if your experience with a client is unmemorable, you'll be forgotten. So a way to not have that happen and to help that connection is to look for regular updates and improvements. So you can have your quarterly value adds, and then you can offer something additional if things come up. Take, for example, a credit breach. When this event happened a few years ago, Micah and Jamie's office sent a letter to those whose information was breached, as well as those who weren't impacted. And those clients shared that with their friends, and this created a referral environment, another level of stickiness. So you always want to reach out to your clients in ways that matter to them. Another layer of stickiness is thanking their clients for any referrals with high touches. And these don't have to be elaborate things, but they need to be personal. The other one is understanding and anticipating expressed and unexpressed needs. The last item Jamie said when creating stickiness has to do with reputation. So in their office, they're all saying the same thing, and the information that clients are getting throughout their organization is consistent. Let's get into action items. What gets measured gets weighed. So be sure to track how many clients you bring on and how many you're losing. If you've lost clients, are you looking at what you're saying you're doing and what you're actually doing? And are you delivering great customer experiences? Do you have a unique selling proposition? With each level of stickiness that Jamie shared and we recap today, do you have this in place so that your clients will want to stay with you? TPR Nation, if you're ready to grow and dramatically impact your life and those around you and want to become a member of the Perfect REA, reach out to us at lifestyle@theperfectrea.com. Remember, if you don't take action to improve your practice and your life and you don't do anything, then nothing will change. That wraps up this week's recap. Thank you for joining me, and please share this or any of our episodes with another advisor or team member who you think might benefit from listening. And until next time, happy planning.